Alright guys, welcome back. Earth Day is coming up and we're celebrating all week, and so you've heard us probably talk about this one a few times so far this week. It's the Lorax. It was written in 1971 by Dr. Seuss, and it's all about protecting our environment. So it's probably the first thing a lot of us ever heard about saving the world. It is considered one of Dr. Seuss's favorite books. He felt like he could get anger at the industrial waste and everything that's going into our environment, and you could be angry about it, but he wrote a really good book, which also taught a lesson. So the quote is, "The Lorax came out of me being angry. In the Lorax I was out to attack what I think are evil things and let the chips fall where they might." So let's read the Lorax. The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. At the far end of town where the grickle grass grows, and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing excepting old crows, is the street of the lifted Lorax. Dreary place. And deep in the grickle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you can still see today where the Lorax once stood, just as long as he could before somebody lifted the Lorax away. What was the Lorax? Why was it here? Why was it there? And why was it lifted and taken somewhere far from the far end of town where the grickle grass grows? The old Onceler still lives here. Ask him. He knows. Well, that's the spot where the Lorax stood before he was taken away. You won't see the Onceler. Don't knock at his door. He stays in his lurkum on top of his store. He lurks in the lurkum cold under the roof, where he makes his own clothes out of mufford moof. And on special dank midnights in August, he peeks out the shutters, and sometimes he speaks and tells how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you, perhaps, if you're willing to pay. So there's the Onceler's house. And he might tell us if we pay. I'll tap it to our friend the Lorax. On the end of a rope you let down a tin pail, and you have to toss in 15 cents and a nail in the shell of a great-great-great-grandfather's snail. He's paying for us, so we'll find out. Then he pulls up the pail and makes a most careful count to see if you paid him the proper amount. Then he hides what you paid him away in his snub, his secret strange hole in his gravolatus glove. Then he grunts, "I will call you by whisper my phone, for the secrets I tell are for your ears alone." So there he is, counting the money and putting it in his secret hole. Schlup. Down slups the whisper my phone to your ear, and the old Onceler whispers are not very clear, since they have to come down through a snurgly hose, and he sounds as if he has a smallish bees up his nose. "Now I tell you," he says, with his teeth sounding gray, "how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It all started way back, such a long, long time back." There's his whisper my phone. And you're right, he does have to travel a while away. Way back in the day when the grass was still green, and the pond was still wet, and the clouds were still clean, and the song of the swami swans rang out in space. One morning I came to this glorious place. I first saw the trees, the truffula trees, the bright-colored tufts of the truffula trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. It's a pretty place. And under the trees I saw brown barbaloots frisking about in their barbaloot suits as they played in the shade and ate truffle of fruit. From the rippless pond came the comfortable sounds of the humming fish humming while splashing around. Barbaloots and the humming fish, enjoying time under the truffle trees. But those truffle trees, all my life I've been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tufts was much softer than silk, and they had that sweet smell of fresh butter or butterfly milk. I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew just what I'd do. I unloaded my cart. So he loves the trees, but I see an axe. That doesn't bode well, does it? In no time at all, I had built a small shop, and then I chopped down a truffle tree with one chop, and with great skillful skill and with great speedy speed, I took the soft tuft, and I kneaded a thneed. That was right, his axe cut down the tree. He made a thneed. The instant I finished, I heard a gazump. I looked, I saw something pop out of the stump of the tree I chopped down. It was sort of a man. Describe him? That's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy, and he spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy. Comes out the stump. Mister, he said with a sawdusty sneeze, I'm a Lorax. I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees have no tongues, and I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. He was very upset as he shouted and puffed. What's that thing you've made out of my truffle a tuft? Look, Lorax, I said, there's no cause for alarm. I chopped just one tree. I'm doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This thing is a thneed. A thneed's a fine something that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat. But it has other uses. Yes, far beyond that. You can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets, or curtains, or covers, for bicycle seats. The Lorax said, Sir, you are crazy with greed. There is no one on earth who would buy that full thneed. There's the thneed. There's our friend the Lorax. But the very next minute, I proved he was wrong, for just at that minute, a chap came along, and he thought that this thneed I had knitted was great. He happily bought it for $3.98. I laughed at the Lorax. You poor stupid guy. You never can tell what some people will buy. I repeat, cried the Lorax, I speak for the trees. I'm busy, I told him. Shut up, if you please. I rushed across the room and in no time at all built a radio phone. I put in a quick call. I called all my brothers and uncles and aunts, and I said, listen here. Here's a wonderful chance for the whole Onceler family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast. Take the road to North Nitch. Turn left at Weehawken, sharp right at South Stitch. And there he is trying to get his attention while he's too busy calling his family. And in no time at all, in the factory I built, the whole Onceler family was working full tilt. We were all knitting needs just as busy as bees to the sound of the chopping of truffle trees. There's the Lorax looking on. I don't know if you guys saw him. He's right there. Watching all of it. Then, baby, oh, baby, oh, how many my business did grow. Now chopping one tree at a time was too slow. So I quickly invented my super axe hacker, which whacked off 4 truffle trees at one smacker. We were making thneeds 4 times as fast as before, and that Lorax, he didn't show up no more. But the next week he knocked on my office door. He snapped. I'm the Lorax who speaks for the trees, which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please, but I'm also in charge of the brown barbaloots who played in the shade in their barbaloot shoots and happily lived eating truffle of fruit. Now, thanks to your hacking my trees through the ground, there's not enough truffle of fruit to go round, and my poor barbaloots are getting the crummies because they have gas and no food in their tummies. So the trees are going fast, and there's the barbaloots not looking very good. They love living here, but I can't let them stay. They'll have to find food. I hope that they may. Good luck, boys, he cried, and he sent them away. I, the Onceler, felt sad, but as I watched them all go, But business is business, and business must grow, regardless of crummies and tummies, you know. So there they all leave. We're leaving all the truffle, all the barbaloots. I meant no harm, I most truly did not. But I had to grow bigger, so bigger I got. I biggered my factory, I biggered my roads, I biggered my wagon, I biggered the loads of the sneeds I shipped out. I was shipping them forth to the south, to the east, to the west, to the north. I went right on biggering, selling more needs, and I biggered my money, which everyone needs. So his little factory is like really pumping out the needs. Then again, he came back. I was fixing some pipes when the old nuisance Lorax came back with more gripes. I am the Lorax, he coughed and he whiffed. He sneezed and he snuffed, he snargled, he sniffed. Once-ler, he cried with a remorseless croak. Once-ler, you're making such smogulous smoke. My poor swami swans, why, they can't sing a note. Not one can sing who has smog in his throat. Well, look at all the smog and smoke coming out in the poor swami swan. And so, said the Lorax, please pardon my cough. They cannot live here, so I'm sending them off. Where will they go? I don't hopefully know. They may have to fly for a month or a year to escape from the smog you've smogged up around here. There they all are. They're leaving. What's more, snapped the Lorax as dander was up. Let me say a few words about the gluppity glup your machinery chugs on day and night without stop, making gloopity gloop and schloppity schlop. Sorry, gluppity glup and also schloppity schlop. And what do you do with this leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty once-ler man, you. So there's all the goo and gloppity glop and glup and gloppity slop and whatever else. You're glumping the pond where the humming fish hummed. No more can they hum, for their gills are all gummed. So I'm sending them off. Oh, their future is dreary. They'll walk on their fins and get woefully weary in search of some water that isn't so smeary. So there they all are, leaving the pond to take off walking, which fish aren't supposed to be on the water. But being out of the water is probably better than me and that glop. And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax. Now listen here, Dad. All you do is yap and say, bad, 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 bad. Well, I have my rights, sir, and I'm telling you, I intend to go on doing just what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm figuring on biggering and biggering and biggering and biggering, turning more truffle trees in the sneeze, which everyone needs. There he is, yelling at the Lorax. And at that very moment, we heard a loud whack. From outside in the fields came a sickening smack of an axe on a tree. Then we heard the tree fall. The very last truffle tree of them all. There it is, cutting down the very last truffle tree. No more trees, no more needs, no more work to be done. So in no time my uncles and aunts and everyone all waved me goodbye. They jumped into my cars and drove away under the smoke-smuggered stars. And all that was left neath the bad-smelling sky was my big empty factory, the Lorax and I. So there's his family. No more money to be made. They're out. The Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance. Just gave me a very sad backwards glance, as he lifted himself by the seat of his pants. I'll never forget the grim look on his face when he hoisted himself and took leave of this place through a hole in the smog without leaving a trace. There he is. He's leaving. He couldn't save everything like he wanted to. And all that Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks with one word, unless. Whatever that meant, well, I just couldn't guess. That was long, long ago. But each day since that day, I've sat here and wondered and worried away. Through the years, while my buildings have fallen apart, I've worried about it with all my heart. I wonder what unless means. But now, says the Onceler, now that you are here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares an awful lot, a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. There he is. So, catch, calls the Onceler. He let something fall. It's a truffula seed. It's the last one of all. You're in charge of the last of the truffula seeds, and the truffula trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffula, treat it with care, give it clean water, and feed it fresh air. Grow a forest, protect it from axes that hack. Then the Lorax and all his friends may come back. The end. So, I hope you like that one. This is like one of my favorites too. And it's perfect for Earth Day, and it's something we should all practice to do, is to make the world better instead of worse. And just remember, unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. See you next time.